Hi, hello YouTube. For today's video, I wanted to continue the series that I started last month, where I talk about the sets for the anime that I watched for this past month, as well as give you guys my overall thoughts on the anime and which one was my favorite for the month. So this past month, I saw 3 anime. As you guys can see here, it was kind of an Isekai month. I watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, ReZero, and then The Rising of the Shield Hero. So we'll start off by looking at the sets first, just like we did last month. This channel is more of a sort of a collection type channel where I show off my collection and all the limited editions and box sets that I pick up. So it's fitting that we start off by showing off all of these awesome sets. So we'll start off with That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. So here you can see this is actually the back of the box set. You can see all of these awesome characters here on the back. There's Rimuru, the main character. She actually has sort of like a glossy effect to her, whereas everyone else there's no special effect on them. They just have a matte finish. Going into the spine, I do like how they have the spine set up here with the title here, and then they have the main character in his slime form down there. And this is season 1, so this box set, once you buy both sets, is the complete season 1. And then going into the back, this one actually looks much nicer. So here we have all of the main girls, I guess you would say, and then we have Rimuru there in the middle. Shizu being my favorite. She didn't show up too much in the anime, unfortunately. I thought she would have more to do in the anime, but what she did show up with were actually my favorite parts of the anime, to be honest. But yep, and similarly to the back, again, Rimuru has that shiny effect to her. You can't really tell on the video, but there's a different texture. She sort of has that glossy sort of finish to him. I keep calling him her because he looks like a girl, to be honest. But yeah, then we can go to the top here. The top is similar to the spine, where we have Rimuru in his slime form and then just the name of the anime, which does look nice. I do like how this top looks. Anyways, going inside of the box set, we have the art book, Season 1 Part 1 and Season 1 Part 2. One thing I did like about this set is that Part 1 and Part 2, they both came with a slipcover. And I do believe, nope, unfortunately here, it's the same artwork. And same thing there. So yeah, it's just the same artwork on the back there. One negative though is that the Blu-ray cases that come with this limited edition, it's the exact same thing you would get had you purchased the standard editions. And I know in the past, Funimation used to include different Blu-ray cases in their limited edition box sets as compared to the standard editions. But it seems with their recent releases, they're starting to do this more often, where the Blu-ray cases in their limited edition is just the same thing you would get if you purchased the standard editions. But anyways, well, let's take a quick look at the inside here. I've already used that, but as far as the inside of the Blu-ray case, we do get some artwork, but the discs have much to be desired. I mean, there's not too much art on these, so it's not my favorite disc, but it does have some artwork here on the back, and that one's actually really cool. I hadn't noticed that one. I might flip this one around. Now let's look at, I kind of opened these backwards. This is actually Season 1 Part 1. So again, Rimuru there, and then some different artwork here, which is also nice. I like this artwork as well. All right, so those are the Blu-ray cases. Now let's go into the art book. So the art book for That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is actually a pretty thick art book. It isn't a hard book, it is one of those flimsy paperback art books, but it is nice. I do like the art that they have here on the front with Shizu and Rimuru there on the front. The back is pretty plain, but it's just simplistic, still looks pretty nice. And then if you go inside, they definitely put a lot of work into this art book, in my opinion. They have a lot of little comic strips. The art that they put in here looks really, really nice. A lot of it, I think some of it is also like fan art, like those comics that you saw there on the back. And then we have some locations, and then towards the front, we have the characters. So yeah, it's definitely a lot to see in here. But all right, that is what you get if you purchase the limited edition for That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Now let's move on to ReZero. So ReZero, to be honest, I wasn't a fan of this sort of silver shiny background that they went with here. I don't know why, it just, something about it felt off to me. But they do have all the main characters here on the front. They have Subaru, Rem, and Emilia. So these are basically the two main girls. A lot of people say that that's the best girl from this anime. But anyways, going into the spine here, that's the spine, pretty simplistic. As far as spines go, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime definitely has a better spine than ReZero. Here we just have the title and just some sort of images there on the background. And then on the back we have the rest of the girls. So we have Ram, Beatrice, and Felt. Crap, kind of forgot the names, but yes, I think that's Felt. We'll figure it out later. So there's the top. Another thing, I mean, while I don't mind the thicker box sets, I do appreciate the fact that they did that so that they could include all of the special extras inside of the box set. So I do like it for that. But when I'm comparing sets, I actually kind of do prefer the slimmer sets to the thicker sets. I don't know why, they just feel more compact, more nicer in my opinion. But anyways, let's go inside now. So, unlike That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, if you picked up ReZero, I think you pick up season 1 and it comes with the limited edition box set, and then you had to pick up season 2 separately as a standard edition. The one thing that I really didn't like about this one though is the fact that the season 1 part 1 doesn't come with a slipcover. So I kind of prefer when my sets have slipcovers, but unfortunately that wasn't the case here. And another weird thing with ReZero is the fact that they included 2 different Blu-rays. And I did do some research, a little bit of research, and apparently the first Blu-ray released had some issues with the transfer. So a lot of people were disappointed by that, and I guess they weren't happy with it. So Funimation went back and re-released the Blu-ray to fix those issues. And to be honest, I don't even know which one I'm supposed to watch. I think it's this one, just because this disc art matches the disc art on part 2. So I would assume that this would be the one you need to watch. If any of you guys know which one is the correct Blu-ray to watch, please let me know. I mean, I watched this one and I didn't really see any issues. Everything looked fine to me in my opinion, but who knows, maybe this is the correct one to watch. Anyways, that's season 1 part 1 Blu-ray case. We go into season 1 part 2. Here I do like the fact that they use different art on the Blu-ray case than they do on the slipcover. So that's one positive. There's the back. And then as you guys can see here, this kind of art style is similar to the second set of discs on season 1 part 1. And here they all have different art, which I always enjoy it when, well actually sorry, the Blu-rays and the DVDs have different art, but both Blu-rays have the same art and both DVDs have the same art. But I mean, as long as there is different art on the disc, I'm always happy when they do that. I like it when they put that little bit of effort on their sets. And then there's the background art, which the background art, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of here. So that is one negative from this set. All right, Now let's move into the extras that you get with ReZero. So they do come in this extras box. There we have Rim and Ram, the cute maids, and then Emilia. But what you really want to see is what's inside. All right, so we have one more thing in there, but let's go over these first. So first off, you'll get these bookmarks, which I am actually a big fan of. I like the fact when my Blu-ray sets come with useful things that I would actually use in my everyday life. So bookmarks is something that I would use if I read. I don't read too often, so I probably won't use them. But for people that do read, I can see how these would be very useful. And I actually really like these chibified forms of all of the anime characters. They look really cute, to be honest. But yeah, those are the bookmarks. We also get a pillowcase. I think these are pillowcases. Yes. So it's probably going to be too big to show here, but this one does have Rim on it. So that one's kind of everyone's favorite girl, or best girl in this anime. And then on the opposite side, we have Emilia. So we do have the two girls, or the two best girls, in this pillowcase. And it's actually pretty nice, so who knows, maybe I'll use it at some point. I'm gonna put that down there. Now, what I wasn't a big fan of was this art book. I mean, compared to that time I got reincarnated as a slime, you guys saw there that they actually used some nice art on the front of the art book. I mean, in my opinion, if it's an art book, the front of the art book should have some nice art. And then also this one is a lot thinner than the one that came in that time I got reincarnated as a slime. But going through it, I mean, they all have nice art inside of them. Although this one was a lot more bare bones than some of the other sets. Ooh, Elsa. I actually really enjoyed Elsa in this anime. I wish she would have showed up more. But yeah, as you guys can see here, there's not too much summary. There's just like a small little summary there. And that's pretty much it. But it is an art book, and the art that they have in here is nice, so I will give them that. All right, that's everything that you get with ReZero. So now let's move on to the Rising of the Shield Hero. Okay, so here we have the box set for the Rising of the Shield Hero. So here's the front. It also looks really nice. Initially, when you first get this set, this is what you see, and I immediately fell in love with it. It looked really nice. Then when I took off the J card that was back here, I uncovered this art and I fell more in love with this back art back here. Anyways, here's the spine, which is also really nice, really simplistic, and sort of has like a marble effect on the back there in the background. And then the text has sort of that goldish, brownish color to it. And then the borders also look really nice as well. And then there's the top, which is pretty similar to the spine. Oh, and then the back on the bottom, I do remember that they put Philo here. So that was a nice touch that they did here. But anyways, so this set was also similar to the other two, where you buy one part of the anime and you get the box set, and then the second part you had to purchase separately, just a standard edition, and then you would put that inside of the limited edition box set. So originally this box was actually in here, and it even gives you instructions here. Please remove this box and replace with your copy of season 1 part 2, which I honestly don't like the fact that they did that. They had me remove basically the extras from the limited edition, whereas ReZero had everything contained in its box set. So that is one negative of this edition here, but I still think just the art that they chose and everything does make up for that, in my opinion. Anyways, let's go inside and take a look at the Blu-ray cases. So this is actually the art that they chose here on the back. You can kind of see there that it's the same art. And then when you unbox it, this one does end up having the same art on the Blu-ray case as the slipcover. Then we got Philo there on Blu-rays, and then Melty on the DVDs. And the back is reversible if you wanted to reverse it. Actually, no, I don't think it is reversible. I mean, I guess it is if you wanted to, but you won't get the Blu-ray information if you did reverse it. But I do like the fact that they have some artwork there on the back. So that was season 1, part 2. And I did drop it at one point and it got bent there, as you guys can see there. But it goes inside of the limited edition box set, so it's fine. And then here is season 1, part 1. Again, same artwork is used here as the slipcover. And then we got Raftalia there. And Naofumi on Blu-ray. And then Raftalia on the DVDs. Alright, so as far as the art book, this one's definitely much nicer than what was it, ReZero? But still, in my opinion, I think That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime had the best art book just because of the fact that they actually put some art in front of the art book. But I mean, this border here does look nice, so I'll give them that. And then on the back here we have all of the 4 hero weapons. And then inside, this is also a pretty thick one. So as far as the contents inside, I say it's pretty much on par with what was included in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. So on this one we have sort of some staff comments, some comic strips, some art, which really it's just all kind of the same art that's used on all of the Blu-rays. We got some locations. So yeah, that was the art book included in this limited edition box set. On top of that, we also got some art cards. I think this is the first time we get art cards. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime or ReZero didn't come with art cards, so that is one positive for this set. And it has all of the characters in the main team here. And then on the back, we sort of have a pencil version of all of the characters. Alright, so now let's look at what's included inside of the extras box. So here, here we actually have a keychain, which I've been meaning to give to my wife. I thought she might enjoy this. She's actually here in the room with me, so maybe I can give it to her now, or ask her what she thinks about it. So we have Philo, Raftalia, and Naofumi. What do you think about this, Dave? You want it? Alright. So we now have an owner for that keychain. And then we also have
it's several keychains.
Yeah, you can put them all together or use them all as one. So I guess that is one thing to note. You can separate it into 3 separate keychains. But anyways, here on the back we have sort of like a scroll or a poster that you can put up. I'm not going to open it just because when I opened up the pillowcase you couldn't really see much of it. And then this, I thought this was actually pretty weird. I didn't like this extras. It's just, in my opinion, it's kind of an ugly sticker too. They could have used a better sticker for the shield. This is just its base form. I think the more interesting one would have been to have I guess I can call it the demon shield. But this one, to be honest, I'm not too fond of. So that's all that's included in the Rising of the Shield Hero box set. Alright, so here we have all the sets again. So yes, my favorite set from the anime I watched last month was the Rising of the Shield Hero. That comes in first place. Second place, I would probably give it to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. And then in final place would be ReZero. They're all still amazing sets. I still like all of them. This one was just my favorite for last month. So now let's move on to the quick summaries of all of the anime. Okay, so before I start, I just want to say that I don't consider myself an anime reviewer. I'm more of an anime collector, so my opinions might not be the best, but I'm just going to quickly talk about some of my pros, some of my cons, and just give you guys my overall score in my opinion. So some of the pros for the Rising of the Shield Hero, in my opinion, are the beginning of the anime and the ending of the anime. I really enjoyed the beginning where you sort of get introduced into this world and Naofumi gets transferred into the world, and then things sort of escalate quickly from there and he gets betrayed. But I don't want to ruin too much, but that first portion of the anime was very enjoyable for me. And then as well, the ending of the anime when they introduced the two new characters from the other world. I also found that part to be really interesting. You kind of always had your doubts about those two characters as soon as they were introduced, but eventually you find out their reason as to why they're in this world by pretty much like the last two episodes or so. So yeah, those were my two favorite parts of the anime. Another pro definitely is the relationship between Naofumi and Raphtalia. I always liked it when sort of they had those touching moments with each other, and they were definitely really cute with each other. Another thing that I also enjoyed about the anime was how Naofumi grew as the series went on, because of the circumstances that he went through at the beginning of the anime, it really changed him as a character and it made him evolved. So I really liked that aspect of the anime as well. So those were some of the pros. Now let's move into some of the cons. So as I mentioned, the beginning and the end were my favorite parts, but the middle portions, there was a lot of parts in the middle that were a little slow for me, especially when they introduced sort of these two characters, Philo and Melty. Those two weren't, in my opinion, my favorite characters. I really just enjoyed more the relationship between Naofumi and Raphtalia, but these two, I kind of see them as secondary. Con for me was also the fact that they never really explained why Malty was really against Naofumi from the beginning. I guess it had something to do with the fact that the Shield Hero always had a bad rap in the past, I guess with past heroes, but they never really explored that or even showed why people didn't like the Shield Hero in the past as well. And then another thing I didn't like was the punishment that Malty and the king got towards the end of the anime. That might also be a spoiler, but they do get punished at some point, and it basically didn't match the punishment that I think they should have, well, that they actually deserved. I mean, if I did anything as bad as they did, I would love to get the punishment that they got. But yeah, I mean, those are some of the cons. So overall, I did enjoy the Rising of the Shield Hero. I think my wife enjoyed it a little bit more than me. She's right here in the room. So do you have anything you want to say about the anime before I give it my score?
I can't wait for the next one.
So yeah, she can't wait for the next season. She really liked it and she wants to continue watching it, which is good. I like it when she enjoys an anime that I show her. So yeah, my overall score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. What about you? She agrees. All right, so let's move on to the next one. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. All right, so this one, it's pretty similar. What I liked was pretty similar to the Rising of the Shield Hero in the aspect that I liked the beginning and the end. But in this case, it's literally just the first episode and the last episode that I like. Whereas here, there was a few episodes in the beginning and a few episodes at the end that I really enjoyed. Everything in between of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, I honestly didn't enjoy it that much. I just thought the first episode was really interesting, how Rimuru got transferred into the world, and then the last episode with showing Shizu's backstory was also one of the best parts of the anime, and they're kind of introducing who I believe is the main antagonist going forward in the series. But everything in between was just kind of, to be honest, sometimes kind of boring for me. I kind of just wanted to get through it as quickly as possible. But yeah, another thing that I really didn't enjoy about the anime was the fact that Rimuru was kind of overpowered, and it wasn't that sort of overpowered where it was fun to watch or anything. She basically always would just eat the antagonist at the time whenever things felt pretty rough. So yeah, I didn't like that aspect either. She was too OP and wasn't too interesting to watch. But I mean, I guess I won't say I didn't enjoy everything. I did enjoy the aspects that they were kind of building this town, and every time they brought a new sort of being into their group, they always brought something to the table, and they were able to expand their village a little bit more because of that. So that aspect was interesting. The execution wasn't the best, in my opinion. Oh, and yeah, going back to one more positive is, well, I didn't like the animation style overall. I thought it was a little too kiddish. I don't know, it just felt a little off to me. I actually did like the character design, especially I like the character design for the ogres. Once they transformed, they all looked pretty cool. So I did enjoy that character design. Here's the other guy. I thought he looked pretty cool. And they actually don't have the other guy. I don't remember their names, but the guy with the spider webs that he would pretty much use them to cut his enemies into pieces. He was pretty cool. But yep, that's pretty much the only positive. The rest is just kind of negatives. One more negative that I'd like to throw in there was the fact that Shizu didn't even get too much screen time. When she got introduced to the anime, she was in there for maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and then she kind of passed, and Rimuru ate her just like he eats everyone, and that's how he obtained this form here that you guys see here. But yeah, she didn't show up too much in the anime. It wasn't until the end that she showed up again, and that was probably my favorite episode of the anime. So yeah, overall, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, I would probably give it a 6. What do you think?
I like it.
So my wife, she didn't like it at all.
Sorry.
She'd probably give it a what?
I didn't even watch too many episodes with you. When you started watching it, I was like, what are you watching? What is that blue thing? And then you're like, it's a slime. I don't know. I didn't find it interesting.
Okay, so I guess she gives it a 0.
No score. I just didn't. Maybe once you keep watching the next seasons, because you said that it gets better from the manga, maybe then I'll get into it. But you know how I am when animes aren't that great at the beginning. I don't mind missing the beginning and just getting into the good part.
Yeah. So yeah, that is true. I probably, even though I didn't like it too much, that last episode got me intrigued, and I do want to continue watching it. So once it continues, I probably will buy the next one and continue watching the series. So yeah, let's move on to the last one, which is ReZero. Alright, so ReZero was actually the one that I was most invested in. I really thought that the mystery behind it all was really interesting, especially towards the beginning. I found the first couple of episodes to be really good, actually. Even though it started to get a little bit repetitive, as soon as you started to feel that way, it sort of changed, and I guess it went into another save point, because I don't know if you guys have seen the anime, but the character basically has this ability where he calls it return by death, where anytime he dies, he kind of just goes back to a certain save point. So even though this anime, they don't really have too much gaming characteristics to it as much as these other two did, but they did have that one characteristic where there's sort of like a save location. Once he gets to a certain point, if he dies, he goes back to a certain save point.
Is that what it's called in the game?
Yeah, so my wife kind of interrupted me there, but
No, I didn't.
she was, well, I kind of wanted you guys to hear her opinion. She was just saying that she thought, as we were watching the anime, that Subaru was always going to return to the beginning, which I kind of felt like that for some point too, because he kept going back to that same save point. But eventually they do move forward, and that kind of gave us...
It's like, I guess,
Yeah. So anyways, another positive for this anime is I actually really like the character design. All of the Emilia, Rim, they were all very different, and even Felt, Beatrice, they all had different sort of character designs. They didn't all look the same, and they were all pretty unique. So I did like that. And Rim's backstory, that was probably one of the more interesting parts of the show. I did like her backstory with her sister Ram. And then the animation was also really good. Although I did notice that the animation in the beginning was much better than it was towards the end. I kind of felt like the animation dipped in quality a little bit towards the end. But regardless, overall, I mean, whenever there was close-ups to any of the characters, they always looked really good. So there aren't too many cons when it comes to ReZero. Just one of the cons for me was the fact that Elsa, she was probably the most interesting antagonist, and I was pretty disappointed that she never made a reappearance. She only showed up towards the beginning there, and honestly, those were probably one of the better fight scenes with her. She was really menacing at the beginning of the anime, and I kind of wished she would have came back. But who knows, maybe she'll come back in this next season, which is actually currently airing. I think the first episode of the new season for ReZero actually came out today. So yeah, I'm hoping she comes back, but that was one disappointment from this first season. Another con was the fact that the dialogue was kind of a bit over the top at some points, especially with Subaru. The way he expressed himself in some scenes were a little bit too much for me, at least, and for my wife as well. She also had the same complaint. Another con, and this one's actually one of my wife's cons. For me, it wasn't too much of a big deal, but she did say that the romance didn't feel natural, and it felt, although I do agree with her that it felt like Subaru was a little bit obsessive over Emilia. And yeah, she's comparing that to the Rising of the Shield Hero, where the romance kind of between Naofumi and Raphtalia is much more subtle, and she thinks it's much cuter. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as cons. I can't think of any other ones at the moment. So I really enjoyed ReZero, and for last month, it was my favorite of the month. I'd give this one an 8.5. So this one gets an 8.5. Rising of the Shield Hero got an 8. And that time I got reincarnated as a slime, I'm giving a 6. So yeah, that was what I watched last month. If you guys enjoy this type of videos, I probably will continue to do them. I kind of did like the fact that I was pushing myself to watch more anime so that I could give you guys this content. So let me know if you guys liked it, and I'll probably continue to do it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.